Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
KTLK AM 1150. You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm Nelson, and I'm with our special guest co-host, Marco Rufo. And Marco, welcome to the show. You didn't want me to introduce you this way. Well, actually, you did, but...
Nelson, when it comes to working with you, any way you want to introduce me, I'm perfectly fine with.
So grab onto this then. The fount of all real estate knowledge out of the Palisades area. The fount of all real estate knowledge.
So kind, Nelson. I do appreciate all your kind words.
So it's going to be awesome. We are going to have a fantastic show today. There is going to be great insight, and what we're looking at is leadership. And leadership in our industry, leadership in government. We're on the heels of the State of the Union address. Plenty of glittering generalities that were cast out there, hoping that some of these things can come true. But I'm specifically looking at what a leadership role is, and we're going to explore that as we go into the show. We've got our street noise segment, of course, and I want to share in that with you some of the insights on what's taking place in the mortgage lending sector. Everybody thinks that lenders don't want to lend, and that's just not the case.
You're absolutely right about that. It's definitely not the case, and I definitely want to hear a lot more about that.
And we're going to, in segment 2, spend some time with our market analyst, Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com. We're going to meet Beth Styne.
Fantastic lady
who is in charge of the greater Los Angeles area for Coldwell Banker. And then we'll go to segment 4, our famed Coach's Corner with Coach Harrick, and taking a look at some of the headlines as well. And then finishing our broadcast with Stump the Experts.
I think that is the most exciting.
No, it's I know it. All the hair standing up on your forearm, so it is going to be good. Marco, let's open up with our street noise segment, brought to you by Insurance Incorporated, providing a full line of insurance and cutting up to 40% on premiums off that insurance expense. With Nelson Radio, you want to get a hold of us, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or go to our web platform, nelsonradio.com. So Marco, I wanted to take a look at one of the things that is just flat out wrong out there. And I had this conversation with my mom this week. She's asking me all the time, are banks lending money?
So hold on, you had this conversation with your mom?
With my mom. She's
okay, well, let's start there.
Let's start with talking to mom. Let's give her an answer.
I totally agree with you, Nelson. I think that we have to definitely explore our banks lending, and absolutely, banks are lending. You just have to be qualified.
So here's, exactly. You actually have to pay back the loan and show how you can do that. There's revelation in the mortgage industry, right?
Absolutely. Things have changed. I think we have to show everything this time around.
Let me throw these stats at you, and this is from 2012. So here's what I discovered. First of all, average interest rate that was extended throughout 2012 was 3.9%. Cheap money.
Cheap money. I think 30-year low, right?
21% average down payment across the country. So people are putting more than 20% down on properties. Debt-to-income ratios, the percentage of your income that's going to your house payment and total expenses, is also lower. About 23% of your income going to house expense, 34% going towards total debts. And so people are not leveraging as much. They're not carrying a debt-driven cycle as much as we've seen in the past. And then the types of loans. only 3% of all the financing, I guess this isn't a surprise, but 3% of all financing is in the adjustable rate category. 18% of the borrowing public is using 15-year fixed rates, getting to the finish line quicker, and then 77% of the borrowing public in a traditional 30-year fixed rate.
You know, what's amazing to me with those statistics is that 3% ARM. I'm surprised that it's actually only 3%.
Do you see a higher level of that in your market?
I do. I see a lot higher level. I would probably say it would be closer to 10%. In my market, for sure.
And Marco, with your marketplace in the Palisades with Prudential California Realty, higher end financing, I guess, is the majority. People getting shorter term fixed rates, maybe paying off the mortgages.
15-year loans are very popular right now, but there is a lot also being put down. There's a lot of equity being put down.
Well, and we're going to touch on that later in terms of just the amount of cash buyers that are out there in the marketplace. So get this, average credit score 748, and that's
shocking.
Yeah, I was surprised at that as well, especially in the swath of damage from this last recession, thinking that credit scores would naturally be a lot lower. But 748 average credit score, that represents 37% of the
Nelson,
U.S. population.
The national average credit score right now is at 615. So that, to me, 748 is very, very high. That limits the amount of people that can actually get loans.
Yeah, and I think that's one issue. And then average transaction length, and I found this interesting because so many people that have gone through refinance transactions and purchase transactions, their common complaint is it's pulling teeth without Novocaine, and we have only a 48-day average transaction time.
And it's funny you say that because people have made that argument that, it's like pulling teeth getting a loan, and if you have a 48-day, that's just 6 months ago, a year ago, it was 90, 120 days before you'd get a loan.
Right, exactly. And then this is not going to shock you, but out of all the loans, 62% of them have been refinances and 38% purchase transactions. I don't think that's quite an accurate indicator in that there has been so many cash buyers out there in the marketplace.
Absolutely. I mean, in generalities, it probably is a true statement. However, no. In micro markets, other markets, no, it's not. There's a lot of cash buyers out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of cash that's actually out there.
Well, and here's the tale of all of this is that the banking community, they're active, they're lending money. The process has overcorrected in some respects in terms of just the volume of compliance, the volume of the paperwork. That is intrusive. But
I'm seeing them get a little bit loosey-goosey again. I mean, there's some people out there that are finding other ways to go down the same road, which is a little concerning to me to see if some negatives will come from that.
So let me ask you this question quickly before we go to break. Loosey-goosey. Now, last week we talked about 100% financing reinstating itself in the marketplace in certain segments of the borrowing public. Do you see that in the Palisades area?
I do not see that happening anytime soon. However, I do see even 80-20 loans that they're becoming less stringent on that qualification.
There you have it. All right. Well, mortgage financing, it's out there. It's available. Mortgage interest rates, they're still fantastic. Even though they've risen a little bit, Freddie Mac has reported just a slight increase in mortgage rates. The sensational media has broadcast that as rising interest rates, but we went, Marco, from 3.4 to 3.5. It wasn't really a stunning spike. So interest rates are still good, and both for the refinance and purchase market. You're listening to Street Noise. I'm with our special guest co-host, Marco Rufo, our resident expert out of the Palisades area with Prudential California Realty. This segment brought to you by Insurance Incorporated. We want you to give us a call throughout the show. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or you can text my name, Nelson, to 313131 or jump on the net at nelsonradio.com. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title 365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license number 0235301.
You're listening to Nelson Radio, and I'm excited to introduce to you once more Marco Rufo. I just love the introduction more than anything.
I think you do. Nelson. I think you just like teasing me with my name.
You know what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce you into a sporting venue. Like if you were in the ring.
A gladiator.
Oh, Marco Rufo! So anyway, Marco is with us with Prudential California Realty, an expert in the Palisades area. And we're going to move into our reportsonhousing.com segment with Stephen Thomas, our market analyst. This segment brought to you by Title 365, their vision and communication, bringing your real estate refinance or purchase transaction status live to your computer, your iPad, your iPhone. They're one of the innovators, Marco, in terms of streamlining our business and actually being able to help us in terms of what's happening with our transactions.
Yeah, I was talking to Vicki Pryor, and she has quite a bit of different products now, and it's very exciting to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's a long time overdue for all of our industries in terms of the streamlining and the paperless transactions going green. So it's a great company. Stephen Thomas, are you with us?
I am. I'm here.
Hey, listen, Marco and I wanted to shotgun some of the headlines that you had posted in your update this week. And starting off with that, one of the things that you noted was out of the KCM blog, thinking of buying your dream home, do it now. Is that the battle cry out there?
Well, yeah, for sure. Everybody's lining up right now. It's now becoming common knowledge that it is a really good time to purchase right now. Affordability is great. Interest rates are great. So they're all getting in line, especially here in Southern California.
With that, it's a question that I asked last week, and it's just been pressing on me all week in terms of, especially on the heels of the State of the Union, where everything seems so positive, but the move-up buyer, are they confident with moving up? Or are they still concerned about, am I going to hold on to my job? Am I going to get a job? Should I take on more debt? Do you have a read on that?
Well, right now, the move-up buyers, they're kind of hedging their bet. They're holding off placing their homes on the market, thinking that, you know what, I'm going to wait for my property to appreciate. But that's actually a wrong bet because as interest rates start to flow up and as we appreciate, it becomes more affordable. If we go 10% up in $750,000 house, that's $75,000. To go 10% up in a $500,000 house, that's $50,000. So if you're moving from $500 to $750, and everything goes up 10%, you just lost out on $25,000 cash.
Steve, this is Marco here. And I needed to jump in here for 1 second. I just wanted to ask, do you really think that we're on solid foundation right now? Do you really think that this is going to continue? The market's going to continue to fuel in the way that it is?
Yeah, I really do. I've been reading the tea leaves for quite some time and looking to see how everything's been progressing to the point where we're at today. We didn't start this progression towards healing yesterday. We started to see a change in our inventory in June of 2011.
But let me ask you, don't you think maybe the powers to be had a little helping hand in this transition that we had?
I would say the powers to be had a little bit of help in the transition, but I think it has its own legs now at this point. You can start pulling out some of those the different hands that have been placed there to help out, and we've got enough of momentum where I think it's going to carry itself forward.
And do you say that because you see all these people coming in with a lot of equity down on these purchases, so you're saying to yourself, hey, maybe look, if there's this much cash out in the field, so this must be real, this must be solid, we must be, the recovery's here.
Well, and there was another article recently that I saw where it's an international investment magazine, and they talked about how now in the United States is one of the best investments as far as real estate is concerned in the world.
Well, I agree with that 100%.
And that commentary came out of New Wire, I believe, and they were talking about how the real estate industry in the U.S. is the safest in the world.
I would have to agree with that.
And Brazil coming in second place, a distant second in terms of that sense of safety, that sense of sound footing like you're asking about. But, it strikes me that I still have a question mark because, I'm in the mortgage sector. I'm looking at everybody's financial statement. I'm having these kinds of budget, rubber to the road kinds of conversations. And they're saying, gosh, look at this. I'm paying $4.20 a gallon. I've got private school. I've got education expense. I got kids expenses. Where's the money coming from?
Nelson, remember, 2 years ago, it seemed like the world was coming to an end when it came to real estate and finances. So I still am very skeptical about what's going to happen.
We're with.
Yeah, well, I remember back in the day in the 1970s. I remember my parents having the same conversation you're having right now, and things have definitely changed since 1970.
So we're with Stephen Thomas, reportsonhousing.com, and our special guest host, Marco Rufo with Prudential California Realty in Pacific Palisades, presented by Title 365. With questions that come up, if you have an opinion, give us a shout. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or text my name, Nelson, to 313131. And there was another article that you posted from CNN, and Marco was certainly realizing this in his marketplace. Big money betting big on housing. Big money betting big on housing. This was out of CNN, and you certainly see that, Marco, with the amount of cash that's coming into the marketplace.
Absolutely, Nelson. I see that. I see foreign investors coming in, foreign builders actually coming in with pockets, very deep pockets, and they're building many, many homes. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Do you see that, Stephen, in terms of foreign interest that's now developing our real estate?
It's been developing over time, and everybody's got their eyeball. And once in, besides our own investors, besides our own buyers, they all want a little bit of the piece of the action here in the United States, especially Southern California.
So where does Ma and Pa America go? This is a question that I wanted to throw your way in terms of big influence of cash buyers, foreign interests of coming in trying to scoop up as much real estate as possible. What about just Ma and Pa America? Couple of married couple, W-2, couple of weeks vacation a year that want to own property. Do they have a chance?
Well, how much are they putting down, and are they willing to waive their appraisal contingency? That's what's happening in the marketplace. So it's unfortunately, if you're a FHA $300,000 buyer, you're gonna have a real tough time finding a place. Those kind of people are being edged out of the market because there's so much cash. And I just saw an article recently, 1/3 of all transactions here are in Southern California are cash right now.
Steve, you said, waiving appraisal contingency. You mean probably all contingencies, right? That makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's what I would root for if I was representing my seller.
Well, there you have it. We're with Stephen Thomas, reportsonhousing.com. Stephen, thanks for being with us. And here's the message line. Confidence is up. Big money is placing its investments into real estate. Foreign interest is coming in. And so I think it's all optimistic. This segment brought to you by Title 365. You can connect with us at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or on the net at nelsonradio.com. We'll be right back.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license 023501.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, conviction and record, the possible loss of job? Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055, or text the letters OCDUI to 313131 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. Welcome back. You're listening to Nelson Radio. I'm with Marco Rufo, resident expert out of the Palisades area with Prudential California Realty. And Marco, we have an exciting guest with us, Beth Styne.
Yes, we really do. I know Beth's legacy, I should say, for many years. She's an icon in the business and been with Coldwell Banker for a long time.
My God, that makes me sound like I'm 100 years old.
I know, and it's not the case. If you were here, we'll post Beth's picture. She is not 100 years old, but has an iconic history in this industry.
Absolutely.
And now leading the charge for Coldwell Banker in the greater Los Angeles area?
Absolutely. I'm the regional vice president for the greater Los Angeles area, which covers from Hancock Park all the way down to Pacific Coast Highway, north to North Malibu, and all the way down to Palos Verdes. So I have a wide territory with 19 offices and a lot of agents.
And many headaches.
And many. Is it herding butterflies or is it more controlled than that?
Oh, it's herding cats.
Herding cats.
It's herding cats. No, it's actually, you know what, the good thing is right now the market's great in our area and people are really excited and people are for the first time because they spent, as you and I talked about earlier, for 5 years or 7 years, it's been a very difficult time for a lot of agents to get their foot in the door, get working, get motivated, get moving. And so for me, it's me getting my managers to motivate their agents. And it involves that and a lot of training and getting people happy and keeping a good attitude because that's really it.
Right. Let me ask you, because we were talking about this earlier, in the leadership role is really what I wanted to focus on in terms of you're leading the charge. You have 2,500 or 3,000 agents in the greater Los Angeles area. It's a big community of people. And in terms of that leadership role, define for us what that means in terms of how you're leading that charge.
Well, at the end of the day, what I really do is, if you were to go and look through what I don't want to call it a hierarchy, but how it works in our industry, you've got our agents and you've got a manager who manages the office, and then you've got my position, which is the regional manager, and I run the west side, and I've got a counterpart in the northwest, and she runs the northwest office, and then we've got 3,200 agents, and that's our whole greater LA company, which is both, and then we've got a president and executive vice president, so they're people that we answer to as well. But my day is really about, getting in the office, seeing what's going on, looking at numbers, because that's part of it, and answering any problems and questions. And then I get out and hit the road, and I hit all the offices. I'm in every one of my offices once or twice a week, and sometimes I'll sit and park myself for a couple of hours. Sometimes I'll do an office meeting and try and do whatever I can to get the troops motivated. And that's really what it is. It's getting out there and understanding what's happening in each office, because it's one thing to hear what's going on and what some of the struggles are with some of the agents. It's one thing to be a problem solver. It's one thing to work on helping people, solve issues, get listings, which is a big part of what I do as well. And that's a whole other thing when you're in the offices and your feet are on, you've got your feet in the street and you know what people are really doing.
Right. Marco, let me ask you from your perspective. You run your own business.
I do.
And so from that stance, are you looking for leadership from the executive staff of your company? Are you looking for inspiration, or is that something that is now just self-generated? It is self-generated, absolutely. However, I always look for leadership in any of the people that I'm associated with because I want it to trickle off to the other agents so that when we're doing deals together, everyone's on the same playing field. I wanted to ask you, Beth, do you find that real estate agents, brokers, are held to a higher standard today?
I think right now they are, in the same way that right now they're holding mortgage brokers to a higher standard.
Right.
They want to know that you're out there and you're taking really good care of the individual. You have a fiduciary responsibility. We're in an incredibly litigious business, and it's the more educated our agents are, the more educated that come out of the box, then the more supported you feel as an agent in the field. Someone who's answering calls on your listings, you know that they know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with them more.
Well, it's been a big void in all segments of business, and certainly the mortgage correction. We were laughing about the little correction in the mortgage industry called the mortgage meltdown that took place over the past few years. But obviously it was lawless, and so many in our industry define the right and wrong, the compliance issues, based on what they got caught at, not whether it was right and wrong. And so from a contractual standpoint, you do have a large volume of agents that are entering into legal contracts. Do you find them pushing those margins, pushing the boundaries?
We are really careful about what we do. And I really pride myself in having a team of agents on the West Side and also in the Northwest region who are exceptional at understanding what it is they're doing, understanding what the contract is, writing an offer as though the trier of truth is looking over their shoulder. Mm-hmm. It's crucial to understand what it is you're doing and what you're talking about and property values, and also understand that we are in a changing market.
Do they have to address you as the trier?
As though I'm the trier of truth.
Madam
Vice President. No. No, as a matter of fact, I really am sometimes uncomfortable about putting, even in my signature line in emails or in, my title, because I think it's not about that. It's about guiding people, and it's about giving people inspiration and motivating people to really do something different.
I have some questions along that line. I wanted to make certain our listeners are contacting us with questions and certainly looking at leadership and inspiration. But this segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. How we all arrived here today. They provided a fantastic brand new limousine for us on our trip up here. Best Chauffeured, providing transportation services worldwide. I want to encourage you, if you need a limo or transportation services to the airport, what have you, you can text the word limo to 313131, or you can contact us at any time with questions for Marco or for Beth Styne with Coldwell Banker, direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. So I want to ask you, just as we close out this segment, in terms of just some specific examples, how you motivate people. How do you get them fired up and, as I fondly say, caffeinated, spastic, and ready to go hit the marketplace?
I'm a really big believer in reading. I think that the more educated you are, the more information you can impart. And I think that for me, I would do a lot of reading and then talk about things that I'd read. And I also talk about what's going on in the marketplace, and also talk about success stories, talk about different tips, tools, training. And I also really like Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss?
Wow, Dr. Seuss.
The places you'll go.
Green hams and
the places you'll go. I'm telling you,
good.
It's one of the best books ever written to give people a real strong sense of what they need to do and where they need to go in their lives.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with her more. Definitely everything that she just stated, the list that she gave was fantastic. And then to add to that list, what I believe is that you have to show by example. And you have to take them out there. You have to prove to them. And if you could show them one little thing that changes their life that day and on the way they're going to behave in real estate, you have an ally in this person.
Beth, we have 30 seconds left. I wanted to ask you, in terms of just best practice, what would be that impression that Marco's referencing that you use over and over in terms of influencing or inspiring?
The basic tenets of the code of ethics of our industry, which is do unto others as you have others do unto you. The golden rule is everything. And I think that leading by example is the best thing that anybody can do, from being an agent with your team who are working with you, your assistants, if you have that, to management, to associate management, to somebody in my position. You have to be able to impart a sense of right and wrong, justice, and a caring heart, kindness, and good intentions.
And just as you would do as a parent, in any aspect of life.
Absolutely. Beth, stay with us. We have some more questions for you. You're listening to KTLK AM 1150 here with Nelson Radio and Marco Rufo, our expert contributor for this week's show. And this segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, our limousine partner providing transportation services worldwide. If you need a limo or transportation, you can text the word limo to 313131 or call us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Beth, we're going to surprise you. We're going to be right back with our Coach's Corner and Jim Harrick. Get a little inspiration from Coach Harrick. We'll be right back.
On the radio.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 0235301.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
Nelson is licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations and MLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and it's important to understand the swath of damage caused by the mortgage meltdown. Obviously, there was poor lending practices leading into, but now there's poor customer service coming out of. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Envoy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can go down if the market improves. Purchase closings in as little as 2 weeks. Refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. And close-on-time guarantees. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from a mortgage lender. Accountability from your lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at strongcreditrewards.com.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back, KTLK. I'm with my special guest host, Marco Rufo, expert contributor, Beth Styne, and we're going to spend a little bit of time here with the Coach's Corner. Coach Harrick coming on to give us a little bit of inspiration. And just to tee this up, Beth, last week we asked him about attitude, and he brought up, Rob, you can only be 5 things. You can either be good, great, fantastic, terrific, or sensational. And I thought, boy, that is just how I need to start looking at things. But, Coach, as we talked earlier today, I wanted to ask you specifically something that Beth has been sharing with us in terms of looking for leadership. And you've obviously spent your career doing that with on the court, looking for who's going to captain your team, who's going to lead your team and lead that squad into competition. And I'm curious what your viewpoint is in looking for leaders. What do you look for?
I don't think any team or any organization can ever be good without having a good leader. And leaders come in different sizes and shapes. Some lead by example, some lead by the work ethic, some lead by motivation, some lead by encouragement. some try to lead by negativity, which I don't really agree with. So they come in all sizes, and really, I don't know that you're a born leader. Some people might be, but you develop into it by certainly by your attitude and by the way you carry yourself and the way you handle the situation that you're in. Now, certainly, if you're a boss, you got to understand. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and you can often fool people you work for, and sometimes you can fool people you work with. You can even fool yourself, but you can never fool the people who work under you. They know when you're real, they know when you're truthful, they know when you're honest, and they know when you're fair. So I think the greatest thing about a leader certainly is if you become a CEO or a boss, the real test of your character is when you get power, and how you use that power and how you really encourage your people to work for you. And I used to bring my team together every day, and I called it a moment of motivation. I wanted to give them a little shot, maybe a 1-minute moment of motivation every single day. But I don't believe every guy comes to work every day wanting to come to work, or comes to practice wanting to practice every day. And that's your job as a leader to manifest the emotion to get them to get going and try to improve every day and try to accomplish something. Guys tell me, well, I sat at my desk 15 hours today. And I would say, well, what did you accomplish? It's called accomplishment versus activity. Did you get anything done?
Yeah,
and real leaders get their people to accomplish things.
Great words. Thanks, Coach. Beth, you hear the advice, and I can see you. You're agitated. You're going, all right, yeah, send me in. What's going on?
No, absolutely. I mean, everything he's saying is 100% spot on. I mean, they don't care how much you know. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. And however you're motivating or whatever you're doing to teach, guide, inspire, and I'm listening to everything he's saying, going, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. This guy's got to be, he's right on the money. And there are he's right. There are people that manage with negativity and manage by pressure and by putting that negative thing out there or by intimidation, and that's never going to be a functional way of managing and bringing people to the best and highest.
And you talk about the highest and best, and Marco, you and I have seen this raising kids and in just in the recreational parks. I never get the negative coaching, using football as an example, where you have 40-year-old coaches that are grabbing face masks of 10-year-old boys and launching on them like no other. You're
absolutely right. And, I got to tell you, Nelson, what I do every day with my assistants that work for me is I look at them, and if they're not smiling, you got to start there. Smile. Real or fake, put a smile on your face because you're going to think about it,
right?
And you're going to start getting real positive, and things are going to start happening for you. So I start with a smile.
So right. I mean, there was a great manager for one of the Coldwell Banker offices in Chicago, and he was number one across the nation for a couple of years, and he is no longer with us. God rest your soul, David. But he would walk in before he'd walk in the office. He'd sit there and go, "It's showtime," and he'd walk in there with a smile on his face, with a great attitude, because it's infectious.
It is.
And that's for agents that walk into any listing appointment. You sit in front, look at yourself in the mirror, and this is going to be great. You walk in the door. The seller has literally, you have 8 seconds to make an impression if it's a female, and you've got 20 seconds if it's a male on the other side of that door, and you better have a smile on your face and a good attitude and be prepared.
Amen.
You're with Marco Rufo and Beth Styne. You can reach us at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or on the web at nelsonradio.com. Beth, when you were talking about David, it reminded me of this fellow that I crossed paths with years ago, Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I don't know if he's still with us or not, but he was a tall man like myself, but probably twice as wide. And when you would meet him, he'd walk up and he would bear strangle your hand in his and say, "I've been waiting to meet you." And that attitude, it just naturally, your guard went down, your defenses went down, and you felt good about yourself in the context of, he's been waiting to meet me. And it was his tagline, but everywhere he went, he had that kind of attitude.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Listen, and everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad moment. But you just have to sort of let it go, deal with what's on the plate, walk away, and then come back to it after you've had some time to think.
I couldn't agree more.
So in that context, let me circle this all the way around back to real estate, because we're coming out of a very difficult recession and lots of financial trauma that's out there, a lot of credit. You know, I mentioned the high credit scores that kind of shocked you, Marco.
It did.
And a lot of people don't tell that tale right now. They go, listen, I've taken my hits. They have bad credit. They want to get in the real estate market. And this was a headline that came up, rebuilding credit scores after bankruptcy. Is it possible?
Absolutely, it is possible. I mean, you have many credit card rebuilding companies now that are coaching their clients into straightening out their credits. It's not an easy road. It's a long process, but it's definitely possible.
Well, and I think it's something that in terms of your role, Beth, in leading a team of individuals that are out in the communities. You talk about, where the boots are on the ground. They're out in the communities with the people that are trying to get into the market, trying to hold on to homes, trying to rebuild their finances, just trying to get things right back to where they were. And I think that's a common core leadership role that we have. You in the executive position, Marco, for the team that you're leading, certainly in my sector, in the mortgage segment, giving wise counsel on how people can rebuild. So I think that's a defined role.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we were just coming back from a severe overcorrection in the marketplace. And I think that we've had, as I said earlier, we've had a lot of agents who were paralyzed by what happened. And now they have to get back into the routines and get back into the prospecting and get back into lead generating and get back into doing something with that lead generating. Right. It's not just, you just can't just collect names. You got to do something with it.
Yeah.
It comes down to one thing, foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Beth, I'm glad you're with us. Beth Styne from Coldwell Banker leading the charge out there. I'm with Marco Rufo, our special guest host from Prudential California Realty out of the Palisades area. Give us a call. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We're going to be right back with the Stump the Expert segment, Marco.
Oh, boy.
We'll be right back. This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce Orange County to the law office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction and record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-585-9055. That's 949-585-9055, or text the letters OCDUI to 313131 for the law office of Michael L. Fell.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
Welcome back. You're with Nelson Radio right here on KTLK AM 1150. I'm with my special guest host, Marco Rufo. And Marco, we're heading into the Stump the Experts segment presented by Envoy Mortgage, providing our exclusive, get this, Close on time guarantees. What lender does that?
That is, I got to tell you, that is a fantastic line there.
Close on time guarantees. Finally, accountability from your lender. Give us a shout. 888-888-2136. We want to hear your questions and opinions. This is not a show of different shades of gray. We have black and white opinions here. 888-888-2136. Each week we have people calling in to our toll-free number, 888-888-2136, leaving messages with questions on what to do, how to navigate in this marketplace. And so we have this first question that came up.
Marco, how do you become a real estate broker or get started in the industry? Is there a solid training for individuals with no experience?
You know, it's funny that she asked that. I'm assuming she meant real estate sales agent or salesperson, because when you first start out, that is the easier road to go down.
The next generation wants to start at the top. They want to be the real estate broker right out the gate.
It's that entitlement thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got to tell you, there's a lot of really fantastic training out there, and some of it's online, some of it's at the local colleges, some is at actually real estate offices. And I recommend that they search out another real estate professional that they trust, believe, and ask them in their community of the steps that they should take, because there's many different approaches to getting your real estate license.
Regardless of the company, should they have a mentor? I mean, Beth, you've talked about having business coaches, life coaches throughout your career. Is that a necessity in today's world?
I think it's a really important thing to have, and I think a mentor or a training director to give you some guidance and show you go through at least the first couple of transactions with you from A to Z is important. And I also think it's important to sit in the car with somebody and watch what they're doing, because we all, it seems like a very glamorous job, but the reality of it is it's hard work. You can work for months and months with somebody, and especially now in this kind of marketplace where we have a lot of activity and very little reward here, because we've got so many buyers trying to buy the same properties. You might see 41 offers on one property, half of them being cash. So it could take a while to do your first transaction. So
going back to that, Nelson, and adding to what Beth is saying, any reputable company will be mandatory that you have a mentor for the first 2 or 3 transactions. Mm-hmm. So unless they're suggesting that, wherever this particular person would like to start her real estate career, wherever they're suggesting that is where you should really look seriously at.
Makes sense. Let's go to the next question.
Nelson, I have poor credit and a low credit score. Do you think I can even qualify for a mortgage? If not, where do I begin to improve my credit rating? Please give me a call back. Thank you.
So, Marco, you talked about this a little bit in the last segment in terms of people do have a resource, and so many people that have bad credit, there's not comfort in company, but there are plenty of people that have struggled through this recessionary time. And so we're setting the gateway of if you had good credit and you fell off that train and now want to restore good credit, there's mechanisms in place to restore credit, to rebuild credit, to raise credit scores. We have a number of partners in the credit scoring community that do exactly that. They study what's being reported to the bureaus, and they give out exact marching orders of, all right, here's what you need to do.
You're absolutely correct, and I've actually had to navigate a few of my clients in that direction, and it's a very long road. But it is possible. It is definitely possible. They can't get 100% of everything, but 90% of it, and they can definitely raise your credit score considerably.
Patience also. It's slow and steady wins the race. If you're focused on getting your credit corrected and you're focused on raising your credit scores, give it some time, be patient, and it'll happen.
Well said.
Let's go to the next question.
Hi, Nelson. I purchased my first home a year ago, but since then, interest rates have dropped and my credit has improved. Can I refinance already, or do I just leave things going up alone?
So the question was about refinancing after purchasing in a relatively short period of time ago, and in this example, a year ago. And we've seen so much movement in interest rates, and they, each time they drop to a certain level, we get to that who would have thunk response. But if the market is better and you can improve your interest rates, the old rule that you had to drop your interest rate by more than 1% in order to gain benefit, it's gone.
It depends. I mean, it depends on the fees and incorporated with that also, Nelson. You got to look at the big picture, and sometimes absolutely it is the right choice, but not all the time. You got to be careful. You got to have a specialist analyze the whole situation.
And that's exactly what we want to do in terms of whether it's from the mortgage sector or from the executive level or from the agent level, navigating the, troubled territories and having sound coaching. I think the Stump the Experts, it's a great campaign here to really try and define for people what to do, what to act on. And so we want to encourage you to hear these words. Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We want to close out our program, and as we do each week, we refocus on things that we can contribute with the successes, the benefits, the attributes that we have here with treasuresofafrica.org, which is our sponsor orphanage down in Tanzania, Moshi, Tanzania. And we have Tate Nelson that's on with us and just telling a little bit of story about one of the kids that's looking for sponsorship down there.
This week's child is Sam Welly, who's a 7-year-old. He's just like many people that are in this orphanage that have family members that are with them. So he's got a 7-year-old or a 6-year-old sister, and also has a 7-year-old cousin. So that's with him. So I think that his picture shows enough, so that people need money. This orphanage needs money in order to keep the good things that they're doing going, and we need they need our support.
Yeah, and there's two ways to support. Thanks, Tate. I think it's, little Sam Welly, and we'll have his picture up on our website, but he is, as all these kids are, a precious child. He loves to run fast. That's what he loves to do, and he wants to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to sponsor a child, you can go to our website, nelsonradio.com, and click through to treasuresofafrica.org and look at sponsorship. And as always, looking for that single testimony out there, somebody that wants to contribute a $2 million pledge towards the redevelopment of their orphanage. That opportunity is available out there for some. And I just wanted to recap a couple of great things from our show. Obviously, we had Stephen Thomas from reportsonhousing.com, our special guest host, Marco Rufo out of the Palisades, a true professional in this industry with Prudential California Realty, Beth Styne leading the charge for Coldwell Banker in the greater Los Angeles area. And then, of course, our executive producer, Phil Giangran, not saying too much today other than just coaching me left and right. We appreciate you enjoying the show. Reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or text the word Nelson to 313131. We'll look forward to being with you next week.